Hey YouTube, I'm Andrew. I am sharing with you my testimony today of how I came to Christ. So this all started, I grew up in church. I've been in church my whole life. But in junior high it really hit me. It was like I wasn't really looking for Christ. I was just going just because my parents were taking me. That was just like kind of showing up. It was just kind of like I would go and I would worship, and then we would talk, and it was like, it wasn't really preaching though, so it wasn't like driving me anywhere, it was just teaching, you know? And then I was just kind of chilling with my friends, Gary and Marcus and JD and Sam. It was just kind of a chill spot, more or less. And then it really hit me in high school, between the summer of 9th and 10th grade. During that summer we went to a church camp in Ruston, Louisiana. And I remember the whole theme of the deal was devoted, and it was about being devoted to God. It's like, God loves you, you gotta love God with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your mind, with all your soul. So that's what the whole thing was about. And so the Thursday night, I think it was, there was like this hardcore preaching. I remember the song came on, it was Like a Lion. I remember listening to it and I was like, this is great. And I remember I was like almost in tears, and I sat down and I was just sitting there and I was like, God, I want more of you. God, I want more of you. And I remember something called me to look down. And so I looked down and I see this clothespin on the ground. It's like half a clothespin with the words, I love you written on it. And I remember looking at it, and I remember just falling apart right there. Just I looked down, picked it up, and just broke. And I accepted Christ right then and there. And every day since then, I've been striving to live for them. And then a couple weeks after that, I remember going on a mission trip. And keep in mind that the time between the church camp and the mission trip, I was a Christian, quote unquote, but I had accepted Christ, but I didn't know what to do with it, because it was just like this cool thing everybody was doing. Because my old church, didn't like. It's a good starting out church, I guess, but it doesn't really push you anywhere from there, you know? It's like it just leaves you with this feeling, you know? And from the moment I accepted Christ until mission trip, I was just living like I didn't know what to do with my faith. It was just like, okay, cool, I'm living with God. Now what? And so I remember God was like, go to mission trip. And I was like, okay. So I went to mission trip, and I remember the whole theme of that was serving others, you know? You gotta love others like God has told you to love them, and so you serve them. And so I remember the whole time I was there, I got out of that was, and that's gonna be really funny because a lot of these people know what I'm talking about. The whole thing that I got out of it was love God, love people. And that's only because God was like, okay, God was showing me this, and it's, people find that funny because said it so much, but I found it was like God was showing me that that's what I needed to do. That's what started everything, was I gotta love God first, and I gotta love people because God loved me. And I remember that, and I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm going out and loving people, and I strive to do what God has asked me to do, first by loving God and second by loving people. But I've had some struggles over the past couple of years too, man. It's not been fun. And I've been praying to God every single day about it, and it's just like, it's not fun. And I pray that God would give me the strength to keep on living for Him. And so I pray that by His power I will continue to live for Him. And so that's the end of mine.